Uganda has just concluded another general election. Ballot boxes were sealed. Winners have been announced. But across the nation, one haunting question lingers. Was this truly an election? Or was this something else entirely? Celebrations erupted across some corners, while anger, fear, and disbelief gripped some others. At the center of this storm stands a political party barely months old, yet already it is scarred by repression, arrests, and exile. The People's Front for Freedom, PFF. The PFF was officially registered on June 15, 2025, deep into an election cycle already marred by controversy. Its formation followed 11 months of arrests, intimidation, and legal battles. By the time they entered the race, the ground was already hostile. Under surveillance and operating in a shrinking political space, the party faced its gravest challenge even before the campaigns officially began. In November 2024, the party's patriarch, Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye, and senior leader Hajobed Lutale were both abducted in Nairobi. To date, these two remain in incarceration. Months earlier, 36 senior PFF leaders attending a retreat were arrested, charged with terrorism, and spent over 6 months on remand.
We are the People's Front for Freedom, a political party that was reluctantly registered by the Electoral Commission on the 5th day of June 2025. The People's Front for Freedom was registered, as you are aware, and by that time, the 2026 general election was already underway. Particularly, the grossly mismanaged special interest groups councils. The registration of the People's Front for Freedom came after an 11-month struggle that started way back in August 2024. You remember that protracted struggle we had to have this platform registered. Both the registration of the party and the general election found us without our patriarch, Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye, who, as the world knows, had been abducted from Nairobi on the 16th of November, together with the one of our eminent elders, Obed Lutale. That is 16th November 2024, and they remain incarcerated in Luzira to date. Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye's abduction was preceded by yet another abduction of 36 senior PFF leaders in July 2024, who had gone to attend a leadership training at a Catholic church center in Kisumu. The 36, commonly referred to as the Kisumu 36, were subsequently charged with terrorism, and they spent more than 6 months on remand. Sam Mugumya, another party leader, was kidnapped by the military in Mbarara and remains under military detention to date. Sam Mugumya is among a growing list of military abductions under the leadership of General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, the CDF, and Museveni's son. Kidnap, abduction, and arbitrary arrests are the hallmark of the 2026 general elections. The military infrastructure countrywide worked hand in hand with Museveni youth gangs to massively critique and stuff ballot papers. In Western Uganda in particular, voters arrived at polling stations only to be told that they had already been voted for. Agents of opposition candidates were arrested and kept away from many polling stations, and in certain cases, terribly battered and brutalized. In some areas, security aided Museveni gangs to confiscate voting materials, including ballot boxes.
Billions of shillings were spent on the biometric voter verification machines, but on election day, many of them failed to work. With the internet shut down nationwide, communication collapsed. Polling agents were isolated, voting was delayed, and confusion reigned.
The biometric voter verification machines procured at a colossal sum of Uganda shillings 150 billion and widely touted as a game changer to electoral malpractice never worked. And since the machines were not working and voting needed Museveni's clearance to commence, the exercise started almost 5 hours late. With 1 hour to go, the Electoral Commission announced a 1 hour extension. Internet had been switched off, which made communication slow and almost impossible. It's even impossible that the machines were affected by internet shutdown, the reason they have worked in subsequent elections for local councils. There are also candidates whose victory has been cheated at the district tally center. You have all witnessed this brazen thuggery which has happened at various tally centers where many candidates came out licking wounds after their victories had been snatched in broad daylight.
Even more chilling, at least 22 Ugandans lost their lives during that election period. Behind every number is a family, is a home silenced, and a future cut short.
General Muhoozi Kainerugaba has celebrated that he has so far murdered 22 citizens. This is something which is despicable, that a CDF celebrating murder of innocent citizens to that magnitude. 22 lives lost at his hands, and he's celebrating.
2026 mirrors 1980, the disputed election that plunged Uganda into years of instability. Once again, the country faces a defining choice: continue under military family rule or reclaim constitutional governance. In a rare moment of unity, PFF entered collaboration agreements with the Alliance for National Transformation and the National Unity Platform, backing joint presidential efforts while fielding parliamentary candidates. Yet, nationwide participation yielded just 2 MPs in the incoming 12th Parliament. For PFF, the results reflect not popularity, but the terrain.
The PFF participation in the Byabakama organized elections, in spite of the military terror and rough political terrain, was a strategic choice. Elections in Uganda, a platform for engaging, mobilizing, and coordinating masses to regain control of their sovereignty. This is the only time that the Museveni family, this is the only time that the Museveni family military rule will allow you a limited and guided interaction with the population. That is the general election. That is the space you have. That narrow window remains closed during other periods. Outside the elections, that limited space is not available. It's an opportunity we sought to utilize collectively as a coalition. All those events are well known to you, leading to a coalition building. To extract maximum benefit, we needed to collectively utilize this election space and advance the struggle. This is partly why, on July 2nd, 2025, PFF signed a cooperation agreement with Alliance for National Transformation, ANT, and both parties reached out to the National Unity Platform to form a united political front for the 2026 elections and beyond as a liberation strategy. Aware that political transition must inevitably happen, the 2026 election is yet another missed opportunity. The country, once again, must decide whether to continue with the Museveni family trace military dynasty or push back to the agreed 1995 constitutional order. We want again to highlight the grossly mismanaged elections as hereunder. Simon Byabakama and his group at the Electoral Commission will go down in the history of Uganda's democratic journey as the most compromised, incompetent, and subversive group of political bandits that occupied the state institution. As the country makes sense and comes to terms with the industrial scale election failure, as PFF, we demand an audit of the 2026 elections. I want to repeat this. As the country makes sense and comes to terms with the industrial scale election failure we have all witnessed, as PFF, we demand an audit of the 2026 general election. The Museveni non-existing 71% victory was fraudulently constructed by the military aided by the Byabakama gang. NRM parliamentary candidates benefited from this fraud, and you have seen all of them celebrating, including the scandal which is unprecedented in this country, where a big number of them were declared unopposed after hounding out their opponents illegally. 17 NRM MPs declared unopposed after those machinations which involved the new phenomena of denomination. It is unprecedented in the history of this country that you get candidates denominated, not disqualified, but denominated. The military, ISO, GISO, and resident district commissioners overran the Electoral Commission with impunity, and nobody could stand in their way. The 2026 election has redefined elections in Uganda and the political trajectory in general, just like the 1980 elections did. All we have to say, this is a déjà vu. The way it happened in 1980, it is what is happening, and most probably in a much worse way or aggravated manner. What is the way forward? Because we could go on and on and on and on. Just wanted to give you bits of what transpired in those elections. Now, the rest you know, you have documented this, you have captured this. Only that some of you, I think, have been barred from screening what you captured on your camera. Now, what is the way forward? We take cognizance of the fact that Mr. Museveni intends to demoralize every effort opposed to the Chwezi family or military rule. He wants to render those leading the charge against him vulnerable. He has long plotted to dismantle organized politics in the form of viable political parties. The clarion call to all genuine freedom-seeking forces is therefore to rise up again and quickly. This is a clarion call we want to reiterate command under Article 3 of the Constitution that we have to rise up and we have to do it in earnest. We must harness the mobilization and networking we have done during the campaigns and deploy it fully to continue the struggle for freedom. It's the reason we exist as People's Front for Freedom. The People's Front for Freedom is committed to championing the rescue agenda for the country and for the political prisoners. This is what I want to underline now on behalf of the team before you. As we assemble here and all our structures countrywide, our main commitment right now and agenda number 1 is to rescue our motherland, to rescue our country. And we are determined to vigorously pursue this without fear or favor. And the most immediate one now, to get our comrades, all the political prisoners, across the board, wherever they are, in gazetted facilities like Dr. Besigye and Obedi Lutale who are in Luzira, and those in ungazetted detention centers, to get their liberty back. And that we are determined to pursue going forward. And we ask all Ugandans to join us in this struggle and ensure that we rescue our motherland and get it back on course as dictated by our forefathers and also those who promulgated the 1995 Constitution. So we have a constitutional order which is not operational, and we have a political order which has been bastardized and it has been inculcated and entrenched to ensure that our country gets down to the doldrums. We shall not accept that. We are here and we want Ugandans to rise again and call to order Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, his son, and the entire junta, for God and my country.